If you're an entrepreneur who's been training consistently but you're not necessarily making the progress that you deserve, you're not necessarily lacking effort, but it's most likely you're lacking direction and or clarity. I've seen this with clients who are training 6, sometimes even 7 days a week and constantly hitting plateaus.
Yeah, the biggest challenge was I had no direction. I was just kind of winging it, and I was starting to plateau.
But then I've helped them make more progress by training and doing less.
I'm almost surprised that we can do what we're doing, or we're building a physique, and it's only 4 hours a week.
But with a clear plan, structured progression, and helping them make adjustments along the way. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 reasons as to why you're probably not making progress and what you can do instead. Number 1, you're probably winging it. You're going to the gym, doing whatever exercises you feel like on the day, and you're changing the exercises every few weeks or when you feel like it. You're not necessarily tracking your lifts, you're not tracking your reps or exercises, you're not really sure if you're getting stronger. And when it comes to nutrition, you're doing a very similar thing. You're trying to get back on track, and then you see something else and you try something else, and then you fall off, and then you get back on track, and it's a constant cycle that you can't get out of. And there are 2 specific problems here. The first problem is that you can't necessarily expect to make progress even if you're consistent, if all of the actions that you're consistent with don't have an intention behind them. As a business owner who operates at a very high level every day, you know that every single minute that you have in the day that you devote towards business must be of value, and you must be doing something that is moving the needle and moving the business in the right direction. And the exact same thing applies with fitness. Every minute you spend in the gym, every minute you spend in the kitchen, it all must be with intention, whether you're training hard or resting in between sets or you're meal prepping in the kitchen. It must be with intention. One of my clients, Corey, is an absolutely perfect example of this. He was once training 6 times a week before we started working together. He was just doing random bits in his office. He wasn't necessarily following a structured plan. As a result of that, not really having intention behind what he was doing or tracking or measuring anything, he eventually plateaued. And when we started working together, we actually reduced his training from 6 days a week to 4 focus sessions a week. And because he was following a structured plan with structured progression, he started to see his weights go up week by week, and in his own words, he started to see his muscles filling out week by week as things got better. So the lesson isn't necessarily you need to work harder, but you need to know exactly what you're working towards, or in other words, work smarter, not harder. And I want to ask you something. Are you following a simple structure right now to help you get in shape? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll read them all. And I think you'd definitely be surprised at how many people are trying to get in shape but don't have a structure or a proper system that they're following. Number 2, your system isn't built for your life, because the system and the plan you're following is probably designed to help someone else make progress. Someone who lives a different life, a more generic life. And as an entrepreneur, you definitely know that you don't live a generic life, as time is scarce and you have responsibilities. You've got client responsibilities, team responsibilities. So you need to build a system that considers all of that as well, because the number 1 mistake that I notice in as to why entrepreneurs don't get in shape, I ask them what system they're following, and 99% of entrepreneurs try and follow a system that they designed for the perfect week, when their sleep was on point, when their schedule wasn't as busy, and when work calmed down so they could devote more time to spending time in the kitchen or going to the gym, which actually allowed them to be consistent. But when things got busy and when things are at the most chaotic, that is when everyone falls off like that. And the reason why is because your system isn't built to survive those chaotic weeks. And that's the difference between the entrepreneurs like Alex Hormozi, for example, who do succeed in fitness, and the ones maybe like yourself if you aren't where you want to be yet. Your system needs to be built to survive your most chaotic and low, potentially busy periods in business. And that's something that I saw with a client just like Ethan. Before he came to me, he was struggling with consistency for over 4 years because of this very problem. He was building a system that only operated and survived in his perfect weeks. But when business got busy, he fell off like that. And for example, something that we did as an example is I made him train in the mornings, and that worked like absolute gold dust. So just building a system that survives the most chaotic times in your business and doing the little things that you prefer and work with you, your business, your goals, and your day in structure and calendar and that is how you'll make the progress you want to. Just like in business, you don't want to look at what you can add, but what you want to remove. Why would you try and fill the scarce time you have to devote towards fitness with things that actually don't necessarily move the needle? You want to look at your plan, or you want to look at what will actually move the needle best for you, and the actions and the things that you can focus on that will help move the needle the most and remove everything else that doesn't necessarily contribute. Number 4, you're not adjusting or adapting properly. You as an entrepreneur, when you start out, you may see a little bit of progress, but then to get to that next level, the majority of entrepreneurs fail, and you may be wondering why that is. Simply because you're not adapting properly. When the routine gets busy, the calendar fills up, responsibilities pile up, office hours get long. When circumstances change and when your body changes, you need to adapt and adjust your routine, your system, and what you do. Because just like in business, what worked in certain sectors 10 years ago doesn't work now. And if a business wants to be able to survive and thrive in a market for a long period of time, it needs to have what's called fitness, which in biological terms refers to one's ability to be able to adapt and survive the current and constant changing demands of the market. And it's the exact same thing with our physical fitness. If you want to keep making progress and not fail over time, you need to be changing your circumstances and making adaptations and adjustments when necessary. And especially as an entrepreneur, circumstances may change a lot more regularly than a generic person. Therefore, adjustment and adaptation are arguably some of the most important things that you need to be able to master once you get off the starting line. And if you're struggling to get off the starting line, then focus on these 5 things instead. Number 1, have a clear goal. A ship at sea, if it doesn't necessarily have a specific destination, is just going to be going round and round and round in circles, and it's not going to get anywhere. And it's the exact same thing with you and your fitness journey. If you don't have a goal, a direction, something that you're working towards, then it's going to be very difficult for you to make progress, know exactly what to do, but most importantly, do everything with the scarce time you have with intention. And for example, your goal may be to lose 10 pounds of fat, get leaner, and build muscle at the same time. The clearer the goal, the easier things are going to be, because the less decisions you're going to have to make. Number 2, build a fitness plan that optimizes for your business, not just fitness. You need to ask yourself, not what's optimal for your fitness goals, what's optimal for you and your life and what you're trying to achieve in the bigger picture. You're an entrepreneur, so what's optimal for an entrepreneur? And this is where the generic advice falls short for you, because yes, having more hours in the gym or spending more hours in the kitchen trying to perfect your meal prep may help you make a little bit more progress, but progress doesn't come fast anyway. It won't be much more progress, and it's going to take so much time away from your business. The ROI is so negative for you. Therefore, your fitness plan should be designed to help you achieve your goal, but it should primarily be designed to support your business and accelerate your life around the gym as well. Because in the long term, you'll make much more progress if you optimize your plan around your business than if you were to make it around your fitness goal on its own. So with that being said, when building your plan, you want to think about the following. How much time can you realistically commit? How many days can you realistically train? And I'd recommend anywhere from 3 to 4 days a week. When are you going to train? How much time can you spend on your nutrition? What does your schedule day to day actually look like? And what is the least you can do to get the best returns possible? You want to be looking at what you can remove, and remove as much as you can until there's nothing else to remove, and that is how you're going to get asymmetrical returns with the time you put into fitness. And the final thing that you want to consider is this plan easy to adapt and adjust? Because the easier it is to adapt and adjust, the more progress you're going to make over a long period of time. It's as simple as that. Number 3, track the things that actually matter. And it's the exact same thing in business once again. Would you not track your metrics in business? Of course you wouldn't. Your metrics are arguably one of, if not the most important things to your business and to your business progression, because your metrics tell you, are you doing the right things? Is the business performing in the right direction? If things aren't necessarily where they are, what is the bottleneck and how can we get around it? Without your metrics, it's very difficult to make progress in business And it's the exact same thing with fitness as well. And with fitness, you just need to track the few things that determine whether you're making progress or not, such as, are your lifts going up? Is the quality of your lifts improving week by week? And if you're trying to lose fat, for example, is your body weight and body fat going down? Are your progress photos improving? And are you sticking to your dietary goals every single day? It's through tracking these key metrics. If one of them is off, you know exactly why you're not necessarily making the progress you are. And if everything is working and all of your metrics are on track, then that just tells you to keep doing what you're doing and not change the system. And by tracking your metrics, you can do number 4 very, very easily, and that is get good at adapting and adjusting your system/routine over time. Because the goal isn't necessarily to build a perfect system and just leave it to work for the next 3 years, but the goal is to be able to build a system that evolves with you, with your current circumstances, with your physical progression over time, and that is how you are truly successful in the long term as an entrepreneur. The last thing I want you to consider is that you need to stay consistent enough to see the results compound over time. I know you're probably at a point in business right now where you're seeing exponential results and things may be flying for you. However, I just want to take you back to the mindset that you had to adopt at the start of business. Did things happen straight away? Were you making the progress you wanted to? Were you seeing the returns for the time you were putting in? Most likely not, unless you had a top 0.1% invention idea that blew up overnight, which in business, if you want to build something sustainable, most likely doesn't happen to anyone ever. But in that period of time when you weren't seeing things go how they wanted, or you weren't getting the results that your effort deserved, you were patient, you gave things time, you understood that you needed to keep working and things will eventually happen if I stay consistent. You need to adopt the exact same mindset with fitness, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in the next few weeks. True progress is built over the long term with a long-term mindset. Keep executing the fundamentals, keep exercising, keep training, keep eating in alignment to your goal, keep recovering, keep tracking, and keep adjusting, and things will happen all in good time for you. Now, if you've made it this far in the video and you understand everything I'm saying and you're excited to take action, but you don't necessarily want to spend the next 6 months trying to figure it out yourself, all for yourself, not to maybe make the progress that you want to and potentially be in the same spot, that's exactly what I take care of inside my one-on-one coaching circle. And you shouldn't be thinking about what to do or making decisions as an entrepreneur, because you've got to save that for your business, and that is exactly what I will do for you. And if you want to potentially talk about how I can help you build a personalized system and point you in the right direction, then I'm going to leave a link in the top link in the description where you can book a one-on-one call with me. We can sit down, talk about how this will work, and hopefully get started with your fitness journey for real. But if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment on anything that you thought was interesting down below. I'll be interested to see them. I'll read all of them, get back to all of them, of course. And if you want to stay around for more entrepreneurial fitness content where I will teach you how to integrate fitness into your life in a way that doesn't take away from your business but actually helps you accelerate and show up so much better in every other aspect of your life as well, then drop a subscription for more videos like this, and I will see you in the next video.